There is no victor, only doom. These chilling words mark the moment a man became a legend. But what drove him to abandon his humanity? Was it the death of his parents, the betrayal by Reed Richards, or something darker? Tonight we'll peel back the layers of Dr. Doom's psyche, his genius, his rage, his unshakable belief in his own superiority. The rain taps gently as we explore how a boy from Latveria became the armored nightmare of the Marvel Universe. Victor Von Doom didn't start as a monster. He was just a brilliant kid born in a tiny village in Latveria where the government treated its people like cattle. His mum was a witch who made deals with demons to protect her family, until one came to collect. Young Victor found her frozen to death after a failed ritual. His dad died soon after, broken by grief and the regime's cruelty. That's when Victor made his first rule: never be weak again. He clawed his way out of poverty with raw intelligence, earning a science scholarship to America. But his new classmate Reed Richards kept outshining him. Victor hated that more than anything, being second best. During an experiment with interdimensional portals, his pride made him ignore warnings about flawed calculations. The explosion burned his face and gave him his first real scars. Psychologists say childhood trauma rewires the brain. For Victor, every loss piled up until he saw betrayal everywhere. His school expelled him after the accident, so he wandered the Himalayas looking for answers. Tibetan monks taught him both science and sorcery, two sides of the same power. When Victor forged his mask there, he wasn't hiding scars, he was erasing the boy who kept failing. First thing he did returning to Latveria, overthrow the government in 3 days, not for freedom, not for justice, just to prove he could. The people cheered because dictators lie better than democracies. Doom gave them order, and they gave him absolute control. His armor wasn't just plating, it had neural-linked defense systems, repulsors copied from Stark tech, and spells woven into every rivet. The mask never comes off now. He sleeps in a pressurized chamber that filters the air so nothing touches his skin. People whisper that he doesn't need sleep at all, that he replaced his eyelids with micro-shutters so he can watch surveillance feeds while resting. But kings don't rest, they conquer. And Doom had bigger plans than one small country. His time in America taught him the real power wasn't in a lab, it was in bending entire systems to your will. So he built an empire where every citizen became part of his machine, never realizing they were fuel. The armor wasn't just protection, it was a declaration. Every circuit, every plate served a purpose. The outer shell could withstand a direct hit from Iron Man's repulsors. The inner layers had neural-linked dampeners to absorb psychic attacks. Doom didn't just wear it, he merged with it. Sensors fed him data directly into his brain, letting him calculate battle strategies faster than even Stark's AIs. But raw tech had limits. That's when Doom turned to the one thing science couldn't explain: magic. He spent years in Tibet mastering spells most sorcerers never attempt. His gauntlets could summon eldritch energy, while his boots tapped into ley lines for flight. Dr. Strange admitted Doom's magical knowledge rivaled his own. He just used it differently. Where Strange protected reality, Doom bent it. Then there were the Doombots, perfect replicas down to the voice patterns, each one rigged to explode if captured. They let Doom appear in 5 countries at once, or walk into Avengers HQ just to prove he could. Some had enough AI to hold conversations, others were hollow shells for surveillance. The uncertainty was the point. No one ever knew if they were talking to the real Doom until it was too late. Latveria became his testing ground. Every citizen carried ID chips linked to his systems. Traffic cameras doubled as facial recognition scanners. Schools taught kids to report unpatriotic behavior before they could read. He turned the entire country into a monument to control, with his castle looming over the capital like a warning. The armor evolved over time. Early versions had exposed wires and clunky joints. Later models integrated nanotechnology, self-repair functions, even cloaking devices. After losing battles, Doom would disappear for months, only to return with upgrades no one saw coming. He once built a suit that could survive the vacuum of space just to spite the Fantastic Four. His workshop held stranger things than armor, time platforms that let him rewrite history, cosmic cubes stolen from SHIELD vaults, a library with books bound in human skin next to quantum physics journals. Doom didn't care where power came from, only that he had more of it. The mask never came off. He slept in the armor's climate-controlled helm, breathing filtered air. Some say he replaced his own eyes with cybernetic implants to never miss a threat. Others whisper he died years ago and the armor is just a vessel for his will. But that's the thing about Doom. The armor isn't his weapon, it's his skin, and he'll keep remaking it until nothing can touch him. Doom never works alone. He collects people like tools, reshaping them until they fit his design. Take Boris, his oldest servant. The guy stayed loyal through coups and invasions, even when Doom abandoned Latveria for months. He's the last living person who remembers Victor before the mask, which might be why Doom keeps him around. Not out of sentiment, though. Boris is a reminder of the weakness he carved out of himself. Then there's Christoph. Doom found him as an orphan after bombing his own capital to stop a rebellion. Instead of feeling guilty, he saw an opportunity. He used neural imprinting to dump his own memories into the kid's brain, not to give him a father, but to create a failsafe. Christoph started believing he was Doom, wearing spare armor and giving orders. When the real Doom returned, he didn't congratulate the kid for being a perfect copy. He just took back control and kept Christoph as a living backup drive. Valeria Richards is the most twisted piece of his circle. Doom delivered her when Sue Storm's pregnancy went wrong, saving the baby but naming her after his lost love. Now, Reed's daughter carries a name Doom chose, and he'll never let them forget it. He's shown up at her birthday parties uninvited, bringing gifts that are really tests, like a dollhouse wired with surveillance tech. The comics show how far he'll go. In one storyline, he manipulates a teenager into becoming his heir, then discards her when she questions his methods. Another time, he brainwashes an entire superhero team into serving him just to prove he can. It's never about needing help. It's about proving he can turn anyone into his weapon. Even his enemies get pulled into the circle. Iron Man once built a suit specifically to beat Doom, so Doom kidnapped him and forced him to improve Latveria's tech. When Stark escaped, he left behind blueprints Doom still uses. That's the pattern: confront, consume, conquer. The scary part? Some of them stay loyal anyway. Boris still brings him coffee every morning while drones monitor his pulse for signs of betrayal. Christoph fights rebels who want to overthrow Doom even after all the psychological torture. That's Doom's real power, not the armor or the magic, but the way he warps people until they can't imagine freedom. But empires always crack. Rebellions simmer under Latveria's streets. The Fantastic Four keep foiling his plans. And deep down, Doom knows no amount of control can erase one truth. He's still the kid who lost everything. Doom's story isn't about winning. It's about never accepting defeat. He could have been a hero if he'd just let go of his pride, but that's the one thing he'll never do. Every loss, every scar just twists him tighter. Even when he temporarily gained godlike power, it wasn't enough, because deep down he's still that kid from Latveria trying to prove he matters. That's what makes him fascinating, not the armor or the magic, but the human flaws beneath them. So yeah, sleep tight tonight. Just remember, Doom probably isn't. Somewhere he's already planning his next move.